New translation, commentary notes by Everett Fox. At the beginning of God's creating of the heavens and the earth, when the earth was wild and waste, darkness over the face of ocean, rushing spirit over God hovering over the face of the waters. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw the light, that it was good. God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. There was setting, there was dawning, one day. God said, "Let there be a dome amid the waters, and let it separate waters from waters." God made the dome, and separated the waters that were below the dome from the waters that were above the dome. It was so. God called the dome heaven. There was setting, there was dawning, second day. God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered to one place, and let the dry land be seen." It was so. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters he called seas. God saw that it was good. God said, "Let the earth sprout forth with sprouting growth, plants that seed forth seeds, fruit trees that yield fruit after their kind, in which is their seed upon the earth." It was so. The earth brought forth sprouting growth, plants that seed forth seeds after their kind, trees that yield fruit, in which is their seed after their kind. God saw that it was good. There was setting, there was dawning, third day. God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the heavens to separate the day from the night, that they may be for signs, for set times, for days and years, and let them be for lights in the dome of the heavens, to provide light upon the earth." It was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light for ruling the day, and the smaller light for ruling the night, and the stars. God placed them in the dome of the heavens, to provide light upon the earth, to rule the day and the night, to separate the light from the darkness. God saw that it was good. There was setting, there was dawning, fourth day. God said, "Let the waters swarm with a swarm of living beings, and let fowl fly above the earth across the dome of the heavens." God created the great sea serpents, and all living beings that crawl about, with which the waters swarmed, after their kind, and all winged fowl after their kind. God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Bear fruit, and be many, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl be many on earth." There was setting, there was dawning, fifth day. God said, "Let the earth bring forth living beings after their kind, herd animals, crawling things, and the wild life of the earth after their kind." It was so. God made the wild life of the earth after their kind, and the herd animals after their kind, and all crawling things of the soil after their kind. God saw that it was good. God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the heavens, animals, all the earth, and all crawling things that crawl about upon the earth." God created humankind in his image. In the image of God did he create it. Male and female did he create them. God blessed them. God said to them, "Bear fruit, and be many, and fill the earth, and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the heavens, and all living things that crawl about upon the earth." God said, "Here, I give you all plants that bear seeds, that are upon the face of all the earth, and all trees in which there is tree fruit that bears seeds. For you shall they be for eating, and also for all the living things of the earth, for all the fowl of the heavens, for all that crawls about upon the earth, in which there is living being, all green plants for eating." It was so. Now God saw all that he had made, and here it was exceedingly good. There was setting, there was dawning, the sixth day. Thus were finished the heavens and the earth with all of their array. God had finished on the seventh day, his work that he had made. And then he ceased on the seventh day from all his work that he had made. God gave the seventh day his blessing, and he hallowed it. For on it he ceased from all his work that by creating God had made. These are the beginnings of the heavens and the earth, their being created, at the time of Yahweh, God's making of earth and heaven. No bush of the field was yet on earth, no plant of the field had yet sprung up. For Yahweh, God, had not made it rain upon earth, and there was no human, Adam, to till the soil, Adamah. But a surge would well up from the ground and water all the face of the soil. And Yahweh, God, formed the human of dust from the soil. He blew into his nostrils the breath of life, and the human became a living being. Yahweh, God, planted a garden in Eden, land of pleasure, in the east, and there he placed the human whom he had formed. Yahweh, God, caused to spring up from the soil every type of tree desirable to look at and good to eat, and the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowing of good and evil. Now a river goes out from Eden to water the garden, and from there it divides and becomes 4 stream heads. The name of the first one is Pishon, spreader. That is the one that circles through all the land of Havilah, where gold is. The gold of that land is good. There too are bdellium, and the precious stone carnelian. The name of the second river is Gihon, Gusher. That is the one that circles through all the land of Cush. The name of the third river is Hiddekel, Tigris. That is the one that goes east to Assyria. And the fourth river, that is Perat, Euphrates. Yahweh, God, took the human and set him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to watch it. Yahweh, God, commanded concerning the human, saying, From every other tree of the garden you may eat, yes, eat. But from the tree of the knowing of good and evil you are not to eat from it. For on the day that you eat from it, you must die, yes, die. Now Yahweh, God, said, It is not good for the human to be alone. I will make him a helper corresponding to him. So Yahweh, God, formed from the soil every living thing of the field and every fowl of the heavens, and brought each to the human to see what he would call it. And whatever the human called it as a living being, that became its name. The human called out names for every herd animal, and for the fowl of the heavens, and for every living thing of the field. But for the human there could be found no helper corresponding to him. So Yahweh, God, caused a deep slumber to fall upon the human, so that he slept. He took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. Yahweh, God, built the rib that he had taken from the human into a woman, and brought her to the human. The human said, This time, she is it, bone from my bones, flesh from my flesh. She shall be called woman, Isha, for from man, Ish, she was taken. Therefore a man leaves his father and his mother and clings to his wife, and they become one flesh. Now the two of them, the human and his wife, were nude, yet they were not ashamed. Now the snake was more shrewd than all living things of the field that Yahweh, God, had made. It said to the woman, Even though God said, You are not to eat from any of the trees in the garden, the woman said to the snake, From the fruit of the other trees in the garden we may eat, but from the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, God has said, You are not to eat from it, and you are not to touch it, lest you die. The snake said to the woman, Die? You will not die. Rather, God knows that on the day that you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will become like gods, knowing good and evil. The woman saw that the tree was good for eating, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and the tree was desirable to contemplate. She took from its fruit and ate. and gave also to her husband beside her, and he ate. The eyes of the two of them were opened, and they knew then that they were nude. They sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loincloths. Now they heard the sound of Yahweh, God, walking about in the garden at the breezy time of day. And the human and his wife hid themselves from the face of Yahweh, God, amid the trees of the garden. Yahweh, God, called to the human and said to him, "Where are you?" He said, "I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid because I am nude, and so I hid myself." He said, "Who told you that you are nude? From the tree about which I command you not to eat, have you eaten?" The human said, "The woman whom you gave to be beside me, she gave me from the tree, and so I ate." Yahweh, God, said to the woman, "What is this that you have done?" The woman said, "The snake enticed me, and so I ate." Yahweh, God, said to the snake, "Because you have done this, damned be you from all the animals and from all the living things of the field. Upon your belly shall you walk, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life. Upon your belly shall you walk, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life. I put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and her seed. They will bruise you on the head, you will bruise them in the heel. To the woman he said, I will multiply your pain, your pregnancy. With pains shall you bear children. Toward your husband will be your lust, yet he will rule over you. To Adam he said, because you have hearkened to the voice of your wife, and you have eaten from the tree about which I commanded you, saying, you are not to eat from it. Damned be the soil on your account. With painstaking labor shall you eat from it all the days of your life. Thorn and sting shrub, let it spring up for you, when you eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow shall you eat bread, until you return to the soil. For from it you were taken, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return. The human called his wife's name Havah, life-giver, for she became the mother of all the living. Now Yahweh, God, made Adam and his wife coats of skin and clothed them. Yahweh, God, said, here the human has become like one of us in knowing good and evil. So now, lest he send forth his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live throughout the ages. So Yahweh God sent him away from the Garden of Eden to work the soil from which he had been taken. He drove the human out and caused to dwell eastward of the Garden of Eden. The winged sphinxes and the flashing, ever-turning sword to watch over the way to the tree of life. The human knew Havah, his wife. She became pregnant and bore Cain. She said, Kaniti, I have gotten a man, as has Yahweh. She continued bearing his brother Hevel. Now Hevel became a shepherd of flocks, and Cain became a worker of the soil. It was after the passing of days that Cain brought from the fruit of the soil a gift to Yahweh. And as for Hevel, he too brought from the firstborn of his flock, from their fat parts. Yahweh had regard for Hevel and his gift, but Cain and his gift he had no regard. Cain became exceedingly upset, and his face fell. Yahweh said to Cain, "Why are you upset? Why has your face fallen? Is it not thus? If you intend good, bear it aloft. But if you do not intend good, at the entrance is sin, a crouching demon, toward you his lust, but you can rule over him." Cain said to Hevel his brother. But then it was, when they were out in the field, that Cain rose up against Hevel his brother, and he killed him. Yahweh said to Cain, "Where is Hevel your brother?" He said, "I do not know. Am I the watcher of my brother?" Now he said, "What have you done? A sound! Your brother's blood cries out to me from the soil. And now, damned be you from the soil, which opened up its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you wish to work the soil, it will not henceforth give its strength to you. Wavering and wandering must you be on earth." Cain said to Yahweh, "My iniquity is too great to be borne. Here, you drive me away today from the face of the soil, and from your face must I conceal myself. I must be wavering and wandering on earth. Now it will be that whoever comes upon me will kill me." Yahweh said to him, "No, therefore whoever kills Cain, sevenfold will it be avenged." So Yahweh set a sign for Cain, so that whoever came upon him would not strike him down. Cain went out from the face of Yahweh and settled in the land of Nod, wandering, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife. She became pregnant and bore Hanoch. Now he became the builder of a city, and called the city's name according to his son's name, Hanoch. To Hanoch was born Irad. Irad begot Mahuyael. Mahuyael begot Metushael. Metushael begot Lemech. Lemech took himself 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah. The name of the second was Silah. Adah bore Yaval. He was the father of those who sit amidst tent and herd. His brother's name was Yuval. He was the father of all those who play the lyre and the pipe. And Silah bore as well Tuval Cain, burnisher of every blade of bronze and iron. Tuval Cain's sister was Naamah. Lemech said to his wives, Adah and Silah, hearken to my voice. Wives of Lemech, give ear to my saying. I, a man I kill for wounding me, a lad for only bruising me. I, if 7-fold vengeance be for Cain, then for Lemech 77-fold. Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son. She called his name Shet, granted one, meaning God has granted me another seed in place of Hevel, for Cain killed him. To Shet as well as son was born. He called his name Enosh, mortal. At that time they first called out the name of Yahweh. This is the record of the begettings of Adam, humankind. At the time of God's creating humankind, in the likeness of God did he then make it. Male and female he created them, and gave blessing to them, and called their name humankind. On the day of their being created, when Adam had lived 30 and 100 years, he begot one in his likeness, according to his image, and called his name Shet. Adam's days after he begot Shet were 800 years, and he begot other sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 900 years and 30 years. Then he died. When Shet had lived 5 years and 100 years, he begot Enosh. And Shet lived after he begot Enosh 7 years and 800 years, and begot other sons and daughters. And all the days of Shet were 12 years and 900 years. Then he died. When Enosh had lived 90 years, he begot Kenan. And Enosh lived after he begot Kenan 15 years and 800 years, and begot other sons and daughters. And all the days of Enosh were 5 years and 900 years. Then he died. When Kenan had lived 70 years, he begot Mahalalel. And Kenan lived after he begot Mahalalel 40 years and 800 years, and begot other sons and daughters. And all the days of Kenan were 10 years and 900 years. Then he died. When Mahalalel had lived 5 years and 60 years, he begot Yered. And Mahalalel lived after he begot Yered 30 years and 800 years, and begot other sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalalel were 95 years and 800 years. Then he died. When Yered had lived 62 years and 100 years, he begot Hanoch. And Yered lived after he begot Hanoch 800 years, and begot other sons and daughters. And all the days of Yered were 62 years and 900 years. Then he died. When Hanoch had lived 65 years, he begot Methuselah. And Hanoch walked in accord with God after he begot Methuselah 300 years, and begot other sons and daughters. And all the days of Hanoch were 65 years and 300 years. Now Hanoch walked in accord with God. Then he was no more, for God had taken him. When Methuselah had lived 87 years and 100 years, he begot Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begot Lamech 82 years and 700 years, and begot other sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 69 years and 900 years. Then he died. When Lamech had lived 82 years and 100 years, he begot a son. He called his name Noah, saying, Ze Yenahemenu, may this one comfort our sorrow. From our toil, from the pains of our hands, coming from the soil which Yahweh has damned. And Lamech lived after he begot Noah 95 years and 500 years, and begot other sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 77 years and 700 years. Then he died. When Noah was 500 years old, Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now it was when humans first became many on the face of the soil, and women were born to them, that the divine beings saw how beautiful the human women were. So they took themselves wives, whomever they chose. Yahweh said, My rushing spirit shall not remain in humankind for ages, for they too are flesh. Let their days be then 120 years. The giants were on earth in those days, and afterward as well. When the divine beings came in to the human women, and they bore them, they were the heroes who were of former ages, the men of name. Now Yahweh saw that great was humankind's evildoing on earth, and every form of their heart's planning was only evil all the day. Then Yahweh was sorry that he had made humankind on earth, and it pained his heart. Yahweh said, I will blot out humankind, whom I have created from the face of the soil, from man to beast, to crawling thing, and to the fowl of the heavens, for I am sorry that I made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of Yahweh.